prototype pattern is one of 23 Gang of 4 design patterns. It belongs to the creational patterns group, which means it's a pattern that deals with object creation. This is the last one of those that we'll cover. The intent of the pattern is to specify the kinds of objects to create using a prototypical instance, and create new objects by copying this prototype. In other words, it lets us copy existing objects without making the client code dependent on their concrete classes. It's a pretty easy pattern, but as with most of these pattern definitions, they're easier to understand with an example. So let's dive a bit deeper into that definition. Imagine we have a system in which we work with people. We can simply create new people by newing up instances of a person class, or more realistically, assuming that person is an abstract class, an employee or manager class that derives from person. Now imagine the use case where most property or field values of an existing object are required in a new object. Or maybe you even need all property values of the new object to match the existing object. In that case, we can simply copy them over. But that requires the client to have intrinsic knowledge of the concrete classes we're working with, employee and manager. It also needs to know how to create them. We can go about this in another way as well. We could create a method on our employee and manager classes, clone, that will return a copy of itself. Moreover, as we know both employee and manager derive from person, we can define this method on the person class and override it in the subclasses. The client application only needs to know about the person class's clone method to be able to clone subclasses like employee and manager. What you see here is the prototype pattern at work. In essence, it describes a way to create a new object by cloning an existing one. Let's map this example to the pattern structure